Hello there, welcome to this video in which I'm going to show you that you don't need to memorize chord inversions. I've always said that chord inversions don't exist, and I'm going to prove to you why with one exercise. You have two choices. You want to remember, let's say at least 10 chord types, 4 positions for each, because often they're 4-note chords, in 12 different keys. That becomes 480 positions. So that's why the thumbnail of this video is what it is. If you want to remember 10 things, 10 chord shapes, or try to remember 480 positions, it's simply not possible. Well, it is possible, but it's a huge waste of time. So let me just show you one simple trick. It's a poking exercise, which I've shown before, which is good for just recognizing chords anyway. But this is doing it with the emphasis on removing the idea that you have to memorize inversions, because you don't. There's an obsession that the root position is the most important one. It's not. The bass note defines the key. I can play that C major 7 in any inversion. It just doesn't matter what inversion I play. It's the bass note which defines the key. It reminds me of a famous quote which comes to mind from Sting. And I can't remember the context exactly, but he basically said it doesn't matter what notes I play on the guitar, it's down to the bass player, and it's completely true. The point is that it's the bass note, not the chord inversion, which is important. So the root position is no more important or special than the first inversion, second inversion, or third inversion. Okay, so do you want to remember 10 shapes, for example, or 480? That's the question. Hopefully you're going to go for 10. What 10? I have a video called danthecomposer's Piano Challenge, and in there are a bunch of chords. I'll just quickly go through them now. Major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, minor major 7. These are the 4 primary chord types. You can watch that video. The 6th chord, the minor 6, the whole diminished, I didn't put it in that challenge, but I can add it here, the sus 4, but with a flat 7, it's nice. Or just a triad, sus 4, but it sounds nice with a flat 7. So C7 sus, or X 7 sus. You raise the third semitone. And then the augmented, which is 1, 3, and a sharp 5, also sounds nice with the flat 7. So there's just 2 chords that like the flat 7. Now you can, now all of those, of course, have inversions, 4 positions, because they're 4-note chords. So again, that's, do you want to remember those? But you don't have to. All you need to remember is you've got your 12 major scales. I have a major scale mastery playlist to help you with that. And then you just remember the templates, which are all based on 1, 3, 5, 7, and modification or alterations thereof, of the 3, the 5, or the 7. That's how chords work. So just get used to I have a video also on naming all chords. It's about an hour long, but you learn every chord type. And trust me, there's more than 10. So when I say 480 positions, that number could increase to like 800 or 1,000 or 1,200, really. And you're not going to memorize all those. So the poking exercise is just simply like this. You master the template, 1, 3, 5, 7. So first of all, just get used to that in the major scales of all the 12 keys. You can do it away from the piano in your mind as well, on your internal piano. Very, very good practice. So let's just take the key of A flat. Now, of course, the best way to do this, of course I know the shape, that's easy, but what if you want to or have to play it somewhere else, like up here? Or what if you want to play it like this? You see, or like this, in the inversions. You might think I've memorized them. I haven't memorized them ever. I've maybe never played, for example, A flat minor 6 in second inversion, which would be this. Now, how did I find that so quickly? I've never played it before, probably. But I found it because of this poking practice that I kind of used to do on my internal piano. The idea is that you highlight, first of all, at the piano or away. I'll demonstrate at the piano, but you can do it away from the piano. You take one of the notes of that chord and you just play it everywhere. So let's just take, what did I say? A flat major 7. So A flat is the root, but you can play that root anywhere. Every A flat is the root. Now let's just jump to another note of that chord, the major 7, which is G. So when you're playing that G, don't think about that as just a random G note. This is the major 7 of A flat. We're not playing it as the second of F. This is called note value awareness. We're not playing it as the 4th of D, the 5th of C, the 6th of B flat. We're not even playing it as an altered note, like what altered note could we give it? The minor of E, for example. We're not doing that kind of thing. We're doing it as the major 7 of A flat. So you have to see it in the key that you're actually in. So major 7. Now get used to playing those two notes together. You're seeing like root. Say it in your mind, like, okay, that's the root, that's the root, that's the major 7, major 7, major 7. It sounds boring, but it really isn't so beneficial. Now add maybe the 5th, which is E flat. So add that to the mix. Maybe just get used to it. E flat is the 5th of A flat. Okay, that's quite nice. Now let's add those 3 notes together to build up the chord. We're ignoring inversions. I'm breaking you away from the concept of memorizing inversions. Absolutely ridiculous waste of time. Huge rabbit hole, waste of time. So let's just go like root 5, major 7, 5, 5, major 7, root 5, major 7. It doesn't matter where you're playing it. It just doesn't matter. Major 7, root 5, 5, major 7, root 5, major 7, root. You get the idea? Now let's add the last note, which is the C, the 3rd, because we're playing A flat major 7. So let's throw in the C to the mix, which is just the 3rd. Get used to playing that. Now let's put it all together. You're poking A flat major 7. And they're the only notes that stick out. You can't possibly make a mistake. As long as I keep the chord in mind. A flat major 7. Then you go to the next level of playing the shapes in their different inversions, but without trying to memorize them. Just see the collection of notes and play them, and you don't even have to play them as a cluster chord, like like this would be officially the second inversion, so first inversion, but don't see it like that. Try to play the chord like, imagine that the A flat is in the bass, Sting's bass player is playing the bass for you, boom, and you're just going to go, right, here's the 3, the major 7, the root, and the 5. That's an A flat major 7 chord. It's just opened out a bit. Spread voicing, you might call it. But it sounds like A flat major 7 because you're playing it with the A flat in the bass. That's the idea. So just do another one. I might still an A flat, so we've got the bass going on. I might just see it like this. I might go 5. I might jump up to the 3rd here, major 7 here, root on top. So you're just breaking away from the idea of there's 4 positions to learn, the root position and 3 others. Good luck memorizing hundreds or 1,000 plus inversions. It's simply not going to happen. Let's just do one more example with the key of D. So let's take maybe D6. So put yourself in the key of D, you can see the key of D, and you know the chord 1 through 5, 6. Everything's based on 1 through 5, 6 or an alteration thereof. Get used to the word altered because it's very important in piano theory, altered note. And so start with the root maybe, or let's start with another note. Let's start with the 5, the A. So I'm playing A, but I know that I'm playing A as the 5th of D. I'm not playing it as the root of itself, the 2nd of G, the 3rd of F, the flat 5 of E flat. I'm playing it as the 5th of D, not the 6th of C, not the major 7 of B flat. I'm playing it as the 5th of D, and I'm seeing it and feeling it in that way. Great, now let's add the 3rd, the F sharp, in random orders. So I'm saying 3, 6, 5, 3, 5. Just getting used to those 2 notes, just step by step, see? Now let's have the 6, which is the B. Now add in the D, 5, root, 6, 3, 5, 6, root. Mixing it around a bit. Now we go on to the chord version. So let's just take, the 5, the root, the 6, and the, what have we got? The 3rd. There we go, D in the bass. That's D6. Might look like other things, but it isn't. It might look like B minor, but we're not in the key of B. Sounds like B minor when you put a B in the bass, but we've got a D in the bass. So it's got that D6 flavour to it, even if we play it in a really open, weird way like this. So breaking away from the fallacy, really, of inversions. That's quite a nice idea. And if you want to, just to put a close to this, if you really want to, you can just get used to your fingers playing in these different inversions. But don't try to actively memorize them. there's a nice little exercise where you just kind of get used to alternating between two shapes like this, so you can do it quite smoothly, and then move to the next shape, move from the previous shape. But you know, that's not something that you really need to do, unless you really, really want to. But the idea is getting you away from that mentality of inversions are important. They're not. Once you know the 1, 3, 5, 7, combine it with your major scale mastery, which I hope you have, and I've got a playlist for that. You can just find the note values immediately. And if you want to practice this in another way, which is not so much about chords but note values, I have a game, I have a podcast episode called Major Scale Tennis. And the idea is that you're sort of going back, like the tennis idea comes from, you have someone say a number between 1 and 7, and you start on the key of C, and the answer becomes the new key that you need to think in. And this is a really good way of getting you used to finding numbers in keys really quickly. And if you can do that with, like, you know, no more than 3 seconds delay, that's pretty impressive. So just very quickly, if I start on C, for example, and I say like 6, I'll go A. That becomes the new key. 5, E. 3, G sharp. If you get a key like this, I did that on purpose. If you get a key like this, where it's not actually common, G sharp, it's not really a key we use, you can rename it to A flat, and then that becomes, so if I go 2, like B flat, I go 5, F, etc. That's just a nice way of getting used to, away from the piano, seeing major scale note values. So major scale tennis, a game I'd really like to push, and you'll find very beneficial, and it will help you with your inversion stuff. So there you go. As always, likes, comments, subscriptions are always welcome. Have a look at my video management website, Waterspinning Syllabus, and Pat's Patreon, and other goodies are below, and I'll see you in the next video. All the best, and bye for now.